I'm a subscriber to the Dave Ramsey debt-free journey method, the baby steps, the whole deal. But there's one place that I'd say I differ greatly on with him, and that is wherever you are in your journey, if you speak to Dave Ramsey or you talk to someone who is drinking the Kool-Aid, they're going to tell you that there is never a reason for you to get into debt. I guess unless you're buying a house. For myself, that's where I differ just a little bit because depending on where you are in your personal finance journey, there may be a good reason for you to get into debt, whether it be for buying a car or for some type of medical emergency. And with that being said, even though I don't see myself as rigid to the idea of being debt free, I do believe there is a great place in our society and in our culture for avoiding debt, for making it more difficult to choose that decision. And that brings me to the topic of holiday debt. Hi, my name's KT and this is Simple Living with KT, a place where we talk about the issues facing our lives in a simple and mindful way. Now let's take a look at Christmas. Christmas comes at the same time every single year. As I mentioned in the beginning of this video, I do believe there are situations that are emergencies that may cause you to need to choose the direction of going into debt. Very temporarily, but it does happen. That is life. I just don't ever see a reason why you would need to go into debt for gifts. And let me just say, I don't want to cancel Christmas. I still want children to have gifts and I want that to be a magical time of year if that's what you think the gift giving is going to create. I'm talking about perhaps for a short period of time, 1 year, figure out a way that you can create the magic of Christmas without going into debt. Because many people are getting stuck with their holiday debt for multiple years. And if you're in debt for more than 1 year, guess what? Christmas is going to come again. And if you did not save for Christmas, once again, you're going to be even in more debt. Because in the grand scheme of things, here's the way I think about it, and this is what I think is the harsh truth. If you're not able to save up for something that happens year after year after year, how do you think you're going to pay for the payments on your credit card? How does that fit into the equation? And perhaps you're thinking, well, I can afford the payment, I just can't afford the upfront large expense of all of these gifts. And for myself, that means you need to find a way so that during the year, you're saving up what you would pay on that credit card payment. So if you're paying $50 a month on the credit card, throughout the year, January through November, you should find a way so that you can tuck away $50 every single month so that when Christmas comes along, you then have a good lump sum of money that you're ready to spend. And I did not know this, but looking at just yearly estimates of what people are reporting they are spending on Christmas honestly shocked me. Because I'm the kind of person that I do not look at what other people are spending to decide how much I should spend. And so, for example, this year, my husband and I decided to put about $500 to the side for our Christmas gifts. And can you believe what people have been spending the past few years on Christmas gifts? It's between $1,000 and $2,000 as the average, depending on the demographic. It looks like younger generations, like Gen Z, they are spending more, closer to $2,000 a year on Christmas gifts. And that's fine if you're able to afford it, but if you're not and you're trying to keep up with the Joneses, and you're seeing that it's not quite working for you, and you're not quite sure where your money's going throughout the year, and you're not quite sure why you weren't able to save up during the year, it might be time to reevaluate how you're spending that money. Being in debt and paying for the interest on credit cards is what I'm honestly going to start calling the tax that's put on people who are unprepared and not able, or who have not prioritized saving money. And by that I mean, we're unprepared one year for Christmas, and so because we see so many people going into debt for a gift, we think it's short term, so we think it's okay. And then we're riddled with the interest that comes with putting something on a credit card. That interest is the I was not prepared tax. That is what I'm going to call it from here on out. 2 out of 5 Americans say that going into debt for the holidays is okay for them, it's necessary. And that, once again, is just something I want people to think about. If it was necessary, then for me, I think that means it's something that you need. Of course, we want to perhaps be there. I'm going to put my own bias and say it's perhaps parents who want to be there for their kids, to be able to say, here you go, here's something great for your magical Christmas. That is just my idea of where all this potential debt is coming from. I know that's not every situation, but let me believe what I believe right now for this situation. So let's say that people are spending about $1,000 for Christmas gifts every year. That means if you want to save for the entire year, that you should save about $100 every single month for your gifts. And I will say, I think for many people that is reasonable, more reasonable than realizing it's December 15th and now you need to spend $1,000 all in one go. Where are you going to get that money from? And so it's time to start thinking long term. And let me be honest, I speak with people all the time who say, I'm not able to save because something always comes up. And so you start putting away the $100 and then something happens with your car. And you start putting away the $100 and then, you need a new pair of shoes because the sole pooped out on the last pair of shoes. Something happens and then you're there needing that money once again that you had put away for something else. And that, once again, fully understandable. Those things do happen, and that is where having other aspects of your budget really in place comes together. That's where having some type of emergency fund will help insulate you in case something does happen, because we all know it's just a matter of time, but something is going to happen. Or you can do what the 2 out of 5 Americans are doing, where they're not really thinking about the future, they're not saving up those funds for Christmas, or they are not able to, whatever the case may be, and you put it on a credit card. And you start paying that interest, and then the next year comes around and you still have a balance on that credit card. And you decide once again to add more to that balance. Your minimum payment goes up and you keep paying payments on that credit card, and you keep paying extra interest for something that is going to be around for just a couple of years probably. And if you don't clean up that behavior now, it's very possible that you're just going to keep adding that debt on itself over and over again, and pass it on to other generations who take those habits with them. So it's up to you to figure out a way to change those behaviors. You can either prioritize saving for the future to prioritize what you need and what you want, or you can stay in debt. those are very stark contrast, but really those are the options for many people. And while it's easy for me to point out those choices, I know it's not easy for those behaviors to change. Those are behaviors that we've had for many years. Those are examples that we've seen made in front of us once again for many years and had that reinforced. That's why I created this YouTube channel, so that we can have a way outside of all the noise that we've heard and that we see in our lives, so that hopefully there is just another way that we can start thinking about finances in our own lives and take that control back. And so certainly if you like this video and like what I have to say here, please like this video and subscribe. I also do have an email list where once again you'll get notifications from me for when I post, as well as just other personal finance information. And I'll see you in the next video, and remember to keep it simple.